Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 31 of our Fine Health Updates. I hope you can see me well. Let me turn on more lights in my room. Right, so welcome to day 31 of our Fine Health Updates. As I always say every time I start this updates, that this was started to provide you with fact and not fiction, to give you an update of what happened the previous 24 hours, and then to give you tips on thriving and just really thriving during this period. Also, I will answer questions as they come in. People send their questions in like over the 24 hours at different times. Sometimes I miss it, sometimes I pick it up. So if I miss it, please send me another one. There was one that was sent yesterday, which was about when everybody will start getting tested. I mustn't forget to answer that. So when everybody will start getting tested, I have to remember to answer that. So I'll just sort of update you on what's happened since yesterday. I didn't want to talk about Trump, but I will today. I've just been dragged in. But my main focus today will be on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I don't know if, I'm sure many of you know what the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and this is what we all pursue to be able to sort of live our best life. So I'll talk about that. And the reason why I talk about that is because of Nigeria. Again, it's health. The care that people like me provide is only about 15% of your overall health. The rest of it comes from just your environment and how you're able to live your life, what we call the social determinants of health. So housing, food, love, and all of that. And all of this form the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But I'll come back and talk about that after I've done the updates for the last 24 hours. So it's been really, really interesting. I'll quickly talk about the UK first. And obviously, things are really pretty much the same. People are really keen on, good morning, people are really keen on reopening the economy. I understand that for people that are financial, experts, and they can see the danger in staying in lockdown. But for people like me, the priority is on health. So there really is no need to even think about reopening anything at the moment, because people are still dying. And in the UK, up until yesterday, we've had another 778 deaths. So it went up slightly from 717 to 778. We just keep praying that it comes down rather than going up. So, but again, the new tests are not massively increasing. I think we had about over 4,000 yesterday. I think this is can invite people to be in your broadcast. I don't know how to use Facebook that much, so tell me if there's anywhere I can invite people in to actually be in the video. I'll be really, really happy, because I think Instagram can do that. But yes, so basically we've had that increase. Hospitals are getting filled up. We are losing colleagues, people that we know, and that's really sad. So I certainly don't have any plan for the economy, for anything, any lockdown reopening, at least for the next 3 weeks, as been advised. So that's what's been happening in the UK. The care homes are becoming a big issue, and everybody's screaming out as to not having the right PPE. So we are still shouting for the right PPE. So care home staff, please do not expose yourself to disease, to illness. Insist on having the right PPE. Make your own. Actually, we're getting tailors to make us scrubs as well, and people are volunteering to make us scrubs. So these are people's moms who are at home, people in their 70s and in the lockdown. They can actually get them to make scrubs and sell it to the local practices. I think we'll be happy to actually buy it. You just need to think about collaborating with healthcare around you. If you can donate it, fine. But if you want to sort of sell it, it's also something that can be done, So that's for care homes in the UK as well. Everything is still just the same. People are getting bored, but that happens. That's fine. That's life. We have to stay strong and stay healthy. I'm really keen to go to Trump. God, I don't want to talk about the United States. And sometimes I get scared to even talk about Trump, because he's such a divisive figure. And people either really, really hate him or really, really love him. I don't have any emotions, either love or hate towards him. All I'm looking at is the leadership qualities. I mean, for people to be healthy, you have to have a strong leader who's able to bring people together. And in the United States, I mean, obviously, over 600,000 cases. Can you believe that? Just suddenly, there's over 600,000 cases over 25,000 deaths. He, unfortunately, the president did not handle it. Trump, he did not. I did not want to talk about Trump. I really didn't. But after, and I watched yesterday, I was just like, oh my goodness. I mean, how can a leader behave like this? I mean, we're all leaders in different fields, and one of the things that we know as a leader is that you have to bring people together. And even when you're stressed yourself, you don't transfer your stress to somebody else. So what he he decided yesterday to completely stop the funding for the WHO because he felt that he did not like the way that the WHO handled this coronavirus pandemic, and he felt that the WHO was supporting China and didn't expose them early enough. And the United States contributes over $400 million to the WHO. So withdrawing that funding is withdrawing about 15% of the World Health Organization's funding. It's a massive thing. So it's a big deal what he's done. I don't know how many people sort of agreed for this to be done. Personally, I feel that is not particularly the right move. It almost feels very combative, and I just don't know whether that's the right move. I don't know what your view is, but certainly my view is that is not the right move. You know, he gets on the stage and he starts getting so angry. Yes, you know, we said that the other day, Shola, didn't we, that the people that are dying from coronavirus are Black mainly. So we have to do that's our own piece of work. And I must say that Shola is doing a great piece of work in terms of pushing the church to start thinking about health in a different way. But we'll talk about that too. Maybe I can invite you, Shola, to come and talk about that at another day. So so basically, he just decided that he's putting off this funding, and that's it. You know, and as a leader, there's something about, you know, resilience and empathy and kindness and bringing people together. This combativeness scares me. I hate talking about Trump. I'm afraid that somebody's going to attack me for talking about Trump because he's such a divisive figure. And he stands on the stage. I feel so sorry for the Anthony Fauci and the lady that sits on the side. They look horrified. They look embarrassed. You know, when you have a boss where you don't want to challenge him, because if you challenge him, you're going to be in trouble. So he pulled this funding, and I think that's the wrong thing. He was also an ally of China. He calls it as it is. The way he speaks to me, he speaks like a child. He has absolutely no filters, and that some people might see that as right or wrong, you know. But you know, it's up to you as a leader. You have to temper things, and the way he's carrying on. Honestly, if I were his cabinet, I would advise them not to allow him to the daily briefings. Leave the daily briefings to Anthony Fauci and the policy experts to do, and he works in the background. But he doesn't seem like someone that wants to be in the background. Seems like he wants to be in the spotlight. So please end Donald Trump. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I have no opinion about him. I just feel that his approach with this current pandemic is not the right one. They're talking about reopening the economy from the May the 1st. I mean, what a spoiled child. Exactly. So reopening the economy on May the 1st. And surely May the 1st is too soon for America to consider reopening their whole economy. It's the states. It has to go state by state. Maybe Idaho or one of those states where there's no cases can reopen, can carry on as business as usual. But certainly places like New York must not even consider that, because people are dying, Black people are dying, and you know, nobody's that bothered. You know, we lost somebody close by as well. It's really a horrible situation. So anyway, that's all for Trump. I'm going to move on quickly. By the way, the elections for America is happening. For those of you that live in the States, I'm sure this is a time for you to choose. Obama, who's, again, I like Obama, right? I have an opinion about Obama, and he's endorsed Joe Biden, which is really interesting. So again, I like Obama, but I just like him as a person. I think the way he talks is quite nice, and it's pleasant, and it's lovely. So, but that's my opinion. Some people don't like him. It's fine. Politics we shouldn't discuss really, because it's very divisive. Okay, I'm going to move on to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Should I think I'll do that first before I answer the question. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Everybody knows that. For you who's watching, for me, the main thing is that we want to be physiologically well. So there's 5 hierarchy of needs, and you almost move between them. But the first thing is, if you're not feeling, if you're hungry, if you don't have shelter, you can't really think about anything else. You're going to be focused on those needs, and then you move on to things like wanting love. Think about things like wanting to safety, and then wanting to actually build your self-esteem. People, you surround yourself with people that build your self-esteem. So if you come from a broken home, for instance, and parents that didn't quite love you, you might struggle with your self-esteem. If you were abused, you might struggle with your self-esteem, and that might dominate your life. Before you then move on to the tip of the pyramid, which is self-actualization. So for me, talking to you, telling you all of this helps you, but it also helps me. For me, this is self-actualization because I feel like I'm fulfilling some purpose. For someone like Shola, it may be just being able to share your knowledge about that, being a dietitian, and all of that might be your purpose. And all of you here, we all have our purpose. Now in Nigeria, my beloved country, I'm flabbergasted because the videos are just pouring in from Nigeria. The jungle justice, the people getting beaten and tied. I'm seeing people being tied, hog-tied, and they're horrific videos. I know that with the whole social media now, we see all of these things. And in a country where there is no security, that is almost near the very bottom of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The government needs to do something. This is crazy. It's at the bottom. I grew up in Nigeria, and I can tell you that I am traumatized personally by the things I saw regarding safety. So seeing armed robbers being killed, seeing people being, and it's traumatizing, and you spend your life trying to recover from all of this. But this coronavirus pandemic in Nigeria, the lockdown has highlighted and escalated this. The new cases in Nigeria are still, I think the total cases are 362. So it's still not really doubling. It hasn't doubled in weeks. People have been discharged. Almost 100 people have been discharged, and 11 have died. So honestly, this lockdown, I still strongly say, is very ill-advised. The government should be trying to feed people, provide them with food. The bottom of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is being able to be warm, to be fed, to be able to have water. That's the bottom. People don't have the bottom hierarchy of needs. That is where health. Being a doctor cannot work in Nigeria, because if people are hungry, they are not thinking about taking antihypertensives or dealing with their diabetes. They're trying to get food. So I am horrified, and this almost looks to me like a human rights emergency, that people are not able to eat. They are having to steal. Then when they are caught stealing, and they are not only stealing, they are killing people, hurting people. Then when they are caught, they are dehumanized, they are beaten. Even when you only steal, in fact, in Nigeria, if you only steal one thing and they catch you, even if you don't kill anybody, they catch you, they will throw a tie around your neck. I remember being in Medilag, in College of Medicine, and I saw them chase a robber, or somebody that stole. He wasn't a robber, and they threw a tie around his neck and burnt him. I am traumatized. I'm traumatized. So, and I'm recovering. I've spent 20 years recovering from the trauma of Nigeria. And it's awful. So what I'll say, the government, if you are in government, if you know somebody in government, these things are not that hard. Honestly, being kind and deciding to help people in your population are not that hard. Providing them with work is not that hard. Providing them with training, computer training, whatever, running, it's not that hard. I employ people, and I'm sure many of you do as well. So the Maslow's hierarchy of needs in Nigeria is 0, is at the bottom level, because you're struggling for safety, you're struggling to eat, you're struggling for all of that. So that's the way I feel today, and that's what I think is right to say today. And I say that I don't know where this is going to reach, but I think it's important that Nigeria and any other country who's practicing such inhumane work and doing things that are so awful, change, feel guilty, feed people. If you need expertise, ask many of us. Many of us have expertise in policy. People know how to provide this sort of things. Anyway, So that's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'll answer the question that was sent to me that I picked up. If I've missed your question, please send it again. The question was, when is everybody in the community going to get tested? The answer is never. Not everybody in the community in the United Kingdom is going to get tested. It will be the ideal. The ideal is that everybody will get tested, particularly when we reopen the economy. Because when you reopen the economy, our concern as healthcare policy experts is that when you reopen the economy, then there will be another surge, there will be another spike in the pandemic, and if you have more testing, then you can catch people who have the coronavirus, isolate them. You can find people who have the antibody, let them carry on with life, and the ones who have never had it can be shielded or do social distancing. So the ideal is that everybody should get tested, but I'm afraid in the United Kingdom, testing is still at, I think, 14,000 per day. I said 19,000 yesterday. That was wrong. I think it's about 14,000 per day. So they are not doing it fast enough, as opposed to countries like, as I said, Germany, who are doing, and I think some other countries are doing up to 100,000 tests a day. The United Kingdom is still behind. And I must say, the United Kingdom hasn't demonstrated the best way of handling the pandemic either. The only thing is that it's a robust health system, so they were able to kind of catch and take the shock, but they haven't demonstrated the best way either. We haven't demonstrated the best way either, and it'll be useful to have more testing. So I know you've asked the question. Unfortunately you can't get it. People have been sending me messages of how can they get private coronavirus testing. There are some labs that are offering it for about 200 or 300 pounds. It's extortionist. I suspect that it's going to get more widely available, and more private labs are going to offer it, and the price will come down. So it will come down. Give it a few weeks, and if I find anyone that is offering reliable testing, I'm happy to post it on here. So that's the question. I'm going to wrap up by saying I was going to ask a question. We might be linked to some people here. I don't know if you would find having a closed group for people with chronic disease helpful. So for instance, if you suffer from hypertension and diabetes, and having a closed group where somebody leads it and you're able to share support and help in that group, if you find that helpful, I'm happy to set it up. I'm happy for somebody else to run it. Particularly, you have to have the condition to be able to run it, and that might be a good resource for everyone to support each other to balance and to improve their health. Because I get a lot of personal questions about, my diabetes, my hypertension, and this, but many times that question can be answered by somebody else who also has that condition. So if you find it helpful, I'm happy to set up a Vine Health health sort of champion group for chronic disease, and then we can set the parameters, and if you're happy to run it, let me know and I can give you admin rights to run that. And that might be somewhere that somewhere like Shola can also tap into and sort of help people with diet, because you have sort of, she's an expert dietitian. We can talk about what these people should eat and exercise and all of that. So if you find that helpful, please send me a message, put it in the comment box, and I'm happy to set it up and give somebody the admin rights, and I'm happy to come in and discuss it in that group as well. So let me know. So thank you for listening again to the day 31. I hope you are finding this helpful. Please share the videos. I can't get around to all the friend requests I've got. There are too many. I'm overwhelmed. So I'm going to try, but if every one of you who's sending me a friend request likes Vine Health, it will help share the message even further. So please just like the page, share the videos. If there's anything I can do better and more things you want to hear, let me know. And I will look forward to talking to you tomorrow. You guys have a great day now. Yeah, bye.